When Doug Durkee looks into a mirror, he sees forever. His art furnishings have been coined Infinity Art. His designs and unique looks are captivating to look at, and we're about to see how he does it.
It's really a study in light and shadow and the interaction of the two working with one another, and reflections of light repeating itself to the infinitive light patterns. I'm fascinated with that whole concept of light, time, and how they interact with one another. I was selling sign supplies in 5 states: Tennessee, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, and wanted to have my own business like most young men in the 20s, and kept looking at what all these fabricators and sign makers were doing with their sign making. After much thought and deliberation, I decided I had this idea of lights sandwiched in a chamber, causing a replicating effect of infinitive lighting. I've always been fascinated with light and shadow. So early on, I started doing mall shows on the weekends and made these little wall mirrors and coffee tables with Christmas tree lights. And they sold. It was exciting. This is a little business I could do on the side. So I started moonlighting on the side, doing this business and doing my regular job during the week. How do you do that? Of course, people will ask me that, and I will say, well, can you keep a secret? And they say, sure. And I say, so can I. In other words, I don't tell everybody exactly how I do it, because it's kind of a thing I'd like to protect to some degree, but at the same token, it's not that difficult to do. But to do it well is where the difficulty comes in. Traveling in Detroit to an art show, and everything was fine. All of a sudden, we're going about 85 miles an hour. The speed limit up there is 75, and everybody goes 10 over typically. I was traveling ahead of the traffic, and suddenly there was a dark spot on my right side, and someone hit the side of my Ford Econoline van, knocked it over. Now I'm sliding down the road, glass is exploding around my face. And I'm saying to myself, well, if it's my turn, take me in the Lord, because it's going to happen and I'm probably going to die out here. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, somehow, the van came up and righted itself, and I drove in shock off to the side of the road, crawled out the passenger side. Right after that accident, this clock came to be, because I realized my time was not endless on this planet. And that's what endless time was derived from. And it's been the most successful clock I've ever designed. I remember seeing the movie Edison many years ago when I was a young boy, and I was fascinated with the fact of what he could do as an inventor and what he went through to create what he created. And I've always been fascinated with that kind of approach. And so what I'm doing is somewhat scientific and inventful, but it also is artistic because it has a flow to it as well. And I think the more you let it be, the more the artistic quality comes out. By that I mean it's difficult to say what separates the artist from the non-artist. I think what the key is the ability to see something or feel something and have it actually happen, but let it happen. It's not something you can force. This piece is an experiment with aniline dye on maple wood, trying to do color, introduce color against the wood. Everything artistic that's in all of us is connected musically, aesthetically. I mean, it all intertwines from that central creative force of God, of the Godhead. And I think that that's paramount, that to be in tune with that, you have to be relaxed and you have to let it flow through you. And then when that happens, you truly are an artist. You evolve. And I think that's important to keep your enthusiasm as an artist, is to evolve. I think that's true with any of us that want to be successful with whatever business you are in. If you evolve, you're constantly evolving, your excitement, your enthusiasm stays up and you become more successful. I think the ones of a kind are the ones that are difficult to part with. To do that twice is pretty much not going to happen, and you know that when you hand that to the customer. So I think it's important that if you can replicate a design, if it works and people like it, that's the key. That's good. That's a good thing. But like ones of a kind, it's difficult because it is a piece of you. And it's a time when you gave that piece of that time that you had creating that piece to someone. It's almost as if it's, how do you put a price on that kind of a gift?